The city of Montgomery says tonight COVID-19 cases are overwhelming their area hospitals. Montgomery's mayor says patients will now be moved to hospitals in Birmingham. CBS 42 State Capitol.
The great fear is if we don't get our response to coronavirus right, Australia could experience the hell Italy is currently enduring.
The novel coronavirus has made its way to the United States with a confirmed case.
There's currently no vaccine outbreak, but headline regions need to require shelter to resolve it.
COVID-19, aka the coronavirus, the infamous virus that's out here, changing the dynamic of society. Here in Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland, the National Capital Region, life is drastically changed. From the way that people commute to work to the way that people go and grab their essential items, the groceries, eggs, whatever they need to survive while they're quarantined. Like you see things as far as, when you enter a store, you have to have on some type of protective mask. I've even seen, due to the shortages of masks, I've seen attendants at the entrances of grocery stores where they'll actually make a makeshift mask out of toilet paper, like right at the entrance, sort of mask. So you see that aspect of the societal change. Also in DC, usual places that are open to the public, such as the Smithsonian museums, art galleries, things that are ran by the Smithsonian, National African American History Museum, things of that matter. They're like totally closed. Even to get into certain areas, the streets are blocked off by the Secret Service or the MPD, which is the police department for DC. The social distancing is a real thing out here. They started to paint on the floors, or use tape to establish the proper distance that's been advised from the CDC, to ensure that people are actually being 6 feet apart from each other. Another thing out here, it's a hard time for everyone, but people that work in restaurants, they live off tips, things to that effect. You see the restaurants, they'll start like a fund, like a kind of like a GoFundMe on their homepage for their team members. The waitresses, the cook, the waiter, the bartender, because they have families and they it's a hard time and they have to feed their family. So society has drastically been changed. It's a grim reality that we live in. But like how I was explained, in this particular area, the DC, Northern Virginia, Maryland vicinity, it's grim. It's grim out here. And I'm optimistic about things returning to normal. When you go back to normal life, but hopefully it'll happen soon. And I'm not sure how things are in the rest of the world, or even the rest of the country. But it's got to be safe, quarantine, and we'll get through this.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for your time, man. How you doing today?
Just working for my constituents.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As always.
Holly Henry working for them too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey, so you know, by now I saw a post earlier that by now there would have been 535 more meetings and 108 more votes at this point in the year. So with that being said, how has COVID-19 changed things for you and your day-to-day practice?
Well, normally we're in Washington 3 weeks out of the year and three days out of the week, and we haven't been there. We've been 2 previous occasions. There was the CARES Act where about half of us showed up. I think that was March the 30th or 31st. And then there was the supplemental about 2 weeks ago. And both of those meetings, and we'll be going back again on Friday for a vote. I'll go tomorrow, votes on Friday. We've been working by caucus calls and being able to give ideas to the caucus leaders, our party leaders, and to our committee chairs as to what we would like to see in bills that we pass. Since we left on March the 13th, I believe it was, we've had these 2 previous bills and then this one coming up, and we've all participated through caucus calls and through letters to the committee chairs and the leadership on what our priorities are. So we've been active. Our offices have been working remotely both in Memphis and in Washington, and we've been able to try to respond to our constituents, which I do as well, and respond through social media and telephone and Zoom and whatever other venues are out there. I would say it's been a tremendous change, and I'm working from my house, and I don't do much except to sometimes take a little walk. But it's been a different way to communicate, a different way to help your constituents. And our constituents all need help, they need hope, and they need a voice. And we do the most we can to give them a voice and to give them hope and to give them help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Hey, the Families First Act, you gave us a yes vote on that, and we appreciate it. You tell us a little bit about that? Well,
We've had several bills we've passed, and we've been trying to get help to families out there. We've gotten stimulus checks of $1,200 a person and $500 a child up to a maximum level. They basically, most of them have gone out, not all of them. We had unemployment compensation increased by $600 a week with an additional federal component, which helps people a lot who are out of a job, and in some cases, it's better monies than they would have got if they would have been working. We've tried to help in this upcoming bill, and other bills too. We've tried to help the frontline workers with more PPE, personal protection equipment, and more testing, monies for testing, and monies for trying to find a cure, monies to NIH and others to try to find a vaccine and or a treatment for COVID-19. We've tried to increase, and in this current bill we've got, we're trying to increase SNAP payments and WIC payments to people most in need, trying to help the post office, which has been suffering. And so everybody's suffering. So you've got arts institutions that are suffering because they've got employees and they haven't had revenue. You've got lots of folks that need help. And then we had our programs that went through the banks and small business to try to keep people on the payrolls, the PPP. And we've got also the small business associations and emergency disaster loans that we've helping get out and fund. So we're trying to do all we can. The bills we think they're not perfect, but they've been what we need to have in these catastrophic economic times and challenging health times. So we're trying to do what we can. And I know that not everything I want is in these bills, and some of the things that we've learned could have been better, and some of the things, but you got to act and act quickly because people are in desperate times. They have rent payments, they've got to buy groceries.
Right, right. Well, hey, man, we definitely appreciate everything you do there in your district and, in Washington for us, of course. What advice would you give, people in your district on how to make it through this time, or any words of wisdom or encouragement you'd like to give?
Well, the first thing is just try to stay healthy. But the main thing, the main way we can stay healthy and not get this COVID-19 is to show social distance, stay at 6 feet away from people, and really ought to stay more than 6 feet away. Wash your hands after you've touched any object that has come in from outside, it's glass or cardboard or anything else, or you've been outside around people, for at least wash your hands for at least 30 seconds with some good soap that lathers up. And you should try to wear a mask when you go outside at all times. That protects others, but it also protects you some. But wearing masks, social distancing, you know, I've read people said 6 feet, but it can be air droplets can go beyond 6 feet. So if you're with somebody, stay away 6 feet minimum. The furthest distance, the better. If you talk with people directly, don't talk at them. Maybe talk away from them. If you're sitting, I was with a friend the other day. I went by and we sat on the porch. And he said, "Well, social distance." And so he set up and he had us 6 feet apart, and that was fine and good. But I was looking at him talking, and he was looking at me talking, and I thought it'd have been much better if we had just looked out in the yard and talked out the yard. He'd have still heard me, and I'd have heard him. But if there were droplets, they would have gone that direction rather than at us. Right. So I think we all be aware and learn from our experiences and try to stay safe. Other than that, you know, we got to be more conservative with our spending and with our use of products. Try to conserve as much as possible so we don't have to go out to the stores as much. When you go to the store, get the most you can, so you don't have to go back out and potentially expose yourself to the virus in a store. Lots of wash and hand sanitizers. Take them with you, and when you get back in that car, wash your hands. You got to be careful. It kills people, and it also if you get the virus, and you get sick. From what I've read, it's hell. Yeah. So it's hell or death.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But Congressman, I know you have a very busy and tight schedule, so I just want to take the time to thank you again for taking a little bit of time to talk with us, and I appreciate everything you do, and we'll see you around.
You're very nice, and it's an honor to serve the night. It's a different way to serve the night, but I'm going to be in Washington when I have to be to make the votes, and we're going to be on the phones helping people all week.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
Abraham said, "From now on, this place will be called Jehovah Jireh, which means the Lord our provider." I'm here to let you know that God will provide, that you can survive under pressure, you can survive through the storm, you can survive through the rain, you can survive through the pain. All you gotta do is lift up your head.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bishop Milton R. Hawkins, pastor of Temple of Deliverance here in Memphis, Tennessee, and we greet you in the name of the Lord. My friend, Brother Tony, is doing a documentary of Pandemic on the Ground and asked me to share with you these things. Of course, we're living in troubled times now, as you well know, all over the country, not just America, but all over the world. The talk of the town and topic of conversation today is COVID-19. So as a church, of course, we've had to adjust the way we do things, and it has really made all of us step up. We've had to challenge ourselves and do things that we may not have been doing differently. Now the doors of the church are somewhat physically closed, but the church itself is never closed because the church is the body of Christ. And as individual believers, wherever we are, we represent the church. So don't ever get it twisted that just because the doors may be physically, the physical location has never been the church. The church is the body of Christ. We're doing Facebook Live now for our services, our Bible study. I do it every Tuesday night at 7:30 Central Standard Time, Facebook Live. And of course, our Sunday morning services, I'm still coming to my church every Sunday morning. I'm preaching twice, 7:45 a.m. Central Standard Time and 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Those services are just an hour long each service. We've got prayer, scripture, ministry of praise and worship, and then I come forth with the word of the Lord in both of those services. So we're still, the word of God is still being preached in this church that I pastor every Sunday with 10 or less folks in here, and the word of God is going forth. But we're glad that we've been able to be a blessing to our community. This coming Tuesday, we'll be distributing grocery bags to 300 to 500 families, which is equivalent to 1,000 people. We'll be feeding 1,000 people with grocery bags on this coming Tuesday, Tuesday at 10 a.m. And then last month, in the month of March, we were blessed of the Lord to give away 1,000 bottles of sanitizer. So we're glad, and I'm glad that Tony, an African-American man, is doing a documentary on this. He's going to lift up what churches are doing, what we're doing as an African-American community, and we thank God for God putting that in his heart to do as a man of God himself and someone who is concerned about our plight, and we thank God for everything that he's doing. And I just want to let you know we're praying for you wherever you are. We're praying for you that the blessing of the Lord would rest upon you during this time. Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. God has not forgotten about you, and I believe that the best is yet to come, and God have not brought you this far to leave you. God bless you. We appreciate you allowing us to share this time.
Today, we have the honor and privilege to be on a Zoom meeting with Otis Sanford. Mr. Sanford is known all over Memphis, this state, Tennessee, and national. He's worked with News Channel 3 and Local 24 as a political commentator. He's also a professor at the University of our esteemed college. Today, we just want to touch base with him and see what his thoughts are on COVID-19. And without further ado, I introduce to you guys Mr. Otis Sanford. Thanks for being with us today, man.
Thank you, Tony. It's good to be with you.
Yes, sir. So let me ask you a question. I'm dying to know. Having to do instruction or teach virtually 100% right now, is that foreign to you?
I'm sorry, you froze up for a quick second. So
okay. Is the teaching virtually now 100%? Is that kind of foreign to you? How are you adjusting to that?
Well, it is. Doing it 100% is foreign. I mean, I have taught online before. I've been teaching full time for almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. But I've taught some online classes. Okay. But I prefer in classroom classes. So yes, this is kind of foreign. I'm adjusting to it because we're almost at the end of the semester now.
Right.
So it's been an adjustment to get used to not having students in a classroom. Unfortunately, some of them have not joined us on Zoom. Mm-hmm. And so I've lost some of the students on the way. That's fortunate. But the ones who have stuck with us, they're doing quite well. And we're just about at the end of the semester.
Okay, good deal. So is this in your opinion, is this the new normal? Will things ever go back to like they were before?
Well, it's hard to tell. And I don't even know if I can speculate on this because I have no idea of what is going to happen here. This virus seems to have a mind of its own. Mm-hmm. And it is a novel virus, which means that a lot of even scientists don't know much about it. So we don't know. Mm-hmm. I do believe that there will be some changes. I think that's inevitable. There will be some new normals. I think where the university is concerned, I do think that there will be some changes there. I do think that you will see more classes online. Of course, that's not unusual for us in the journalism department. We've been doing that for many, many years. Mm-hmm. But I think you're going to see more classes online. I hope we don't see a drop in enrollment in the fall, but that's a possibility as well. So yes, I mean, I think that there are going to be some lasting changes as a result of this, and some of it might not be good.
Right. You know, being around journalism a long time, I mean, with your work with the Commercial Appeal and the Associated Press, and I mean, the list just goes on and on. I'm very impressed, I must say. Have you ever had to deal with anything of this sort? Not necessarily a pandemic, of course, but anything viral that took place, or any type of disease or anything that was widespread that you had to do or talk about or cover before?
No, nothing at all to this degree. I mean, this is unprecedented in modern history. You'd have to go back to 1918 to even get something that was even remotely similar to this in terms of a health crisis.
Right.
And even before that, in Memphis, you'd have to go back to the yellow fever epidemic in the 1870s to match this.
Right.
I mean, the only thing that possibly rivals this in terms of changing our way of life, obviously, would be 9/11. I was an editor at the Commercial Appeal when that happened in 2001. And so we covered that obviously extensively, as everybody did around the world. And that brought about a lot of changes. It changed the way we travel by airplane. It changed just a lot of things related to safety and security, especially homeland security. But nothing from a health perspective like this has ever happened in my lifetime. And so, no, I mean, this is an unprecedented event for all of us.
Right. Yes, sir. Hey, from a political standpoint, I know you're very, very involved in that regard. Do you feel that the government here locally and statewide have done everything within their power? I know it's got to be hard for them on a day-to-day basis, but I'm sure they're acting in our best interest. But what do you think? What does a day in lawmaking looks like as it pertains to COVID-19?
Well, I mean, and some of my response to that question is going to be my opinion, because again, that's what I do. I'm an opinion journalist, so I get to have my opinion on things.
Right.
So let me say first the local political leaders. I think for the most part they have done a really, really good job. They responded to it very quickly. They acted responsibly. They moved to declare a local state of emergency and told people to, shelter at home. And they shut down businesses as a result of that. I think that has helped us mitigate this problem here locally in Memphis and Shelby County. So I do give some credit to Mayor Jim Strickland, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland, County Mayor Lee Harris. They put together a COVID-19 task force made up of health experts, and they have done daily briefings about what's going on. So yes, I give the local people a good grade for having done this, knowing that it has been devastating for our community in terms of the economy, with businesses shut down and schools closed and people being laid off their jobs, don't know where the money is going to come from to pay their bills and feed their families. This has been devastating.
Right.
But I think that local political leaders have put public health front and center. I can't necessarily say that for state elected leaders, and I'm talking primarily about the governor.
Okay.
I think our Tennessee governor, Bill Lee, was slow to respond in the first place. When he did respond, it was after, especially the major population centers had already done things to get people to stay at home, and then he finally issued a statewide emergency to stay at home. But now he is planning to lift that as of May 1st without all of the necessary testing and tracing to find out who actually has the virus.
Right.
That's a little irresponsible. So And don't get me started about the federal response, because I don't think much at all. So.
Today, we had the privilege of sitting here with Dustin Smith of Smith's Plumbing Service. I've known Dustin for a very long time, and I tell you, he is the true meaning of what you call a servant leader and a man that runs his business, keeping God and family first, foremost and in the front. Today, we want to talk to Dustin a little bit. Dustin has spearheaded some things that happen here locally, and he has fed tons of people. And I mean, literally, when the pandemic hit, he literally just took the steering wheel and went for a ride. So we're gonna let him talk a little bit about that. Dustin?
Hey, Tony, thank you. I appreciate y'all coming out and interviewing me today. You know, it was kind of crazy, the first real talks of the pandemic. I remember there was a night where I literally stayed up all night. I was concerned about my family, friends, my business, my employees, the community. I just knew that by them shutting everything down, that it was going to have a huge economic impact on top of the potential for people to get sick. So what I did was initially just put out a post that, hey, I'm going to provide 50 meals a day for a week. Well, after that, had so many people in the community reach out wanting to help. I basically took a piece of my advertising budget and used that to feed people rather than just show another commercial that they've probably seen, you know, 10 or 15 times or whatever. Just felt like it was better use of the money, and from there, other businesses have you know, come on board. And the thing is, most of us small business owners aren't individually wealthy. So the idea behind all this is essentially to get a little bit of advertising to the people that are donating, so that they can continue to do it, hopefully, if they see some kind of return, feed the people in our community, help local restaurants retain their employees, along with giving them a little bit of cash flow. I can assure you that for the $5 a meal they're doing, they're not making a lot of money, but it is cash flow. It is helping with employee retention, paying their rent, light bill, that kind of thing, along with the other business that they get normally. To date, we have collected between Tipton and Shelby County almost $42,000. We have fed over 6,500 people. We donated $2,500 to a nonprofit in Binghamton called Caritas Village. We have taken some of that money and also fed the Bartlett Police Department, a couple of assisted living facilities. You know, one thing I didn't think about during this is, like, those people, first of all, they're protecting our elderly. A lot of the assistants are only making $12 to $14 an hour. So then they're at work having to, especially if they're a single parent, having to feed their kids, and some of these workers are going without food. Like, one of the ladies that told me she had been not eating a lunch just to make sure her kids had food, because she was used to using the programs at school to feed her children, but she wasn't able to leave work to go get the meals in order to feed her kids. So she's having to make those hard decisions, and again, basically sacrificing herself to make sure her kids have food on the table.
Right. And I know a lot of parents are right there in that same boat. Dustin, you've always had that whole, you know, giver's game mentality, and I applaud you for that, man.
Well, thank you.
Okay, on a side note, I know you're a parent, so are you kind of like me? Are you about to go crazy having kids at home?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I tell you, it's been a really, really rough struggle. I can definitely appreciate my wife and the school and the daycare and all of that stuff, because now I know the value of it.
Absolutely.
But I know the true value of it.
Right.
Now.
Well, and you know, the cool thing that we've seen as a family is we're having to make time and find new ways for us all to be together, because you know, we're not used to this. We're always on the go normally, and so this has slowed us all down, and we've got to find ways to come together as a family.
Right. So, all right, Dustin, the question comes to mind, man. How has COVID-19 affected your business, and what advice would you give to other small business owners that may be struggling or having a rough time?
Well, we've seen about a 20% reduction in revenue. So we've had to be a little more innovative in the way that we reach out to the community. Also, the way that we've had to do business. We've had to make sure that our employees are safe, make sure our customers are safe, make sure that our employees are separated as much as possible so that if someone were to get sick, it's going to limit the amount of people that it could be spread to. And just as far as business owners are concerned, just keep your head up, make sure that you're motivating your employees, because not only are they having difficulties at work probably through all this just because it's a difficult time, they're probably also having issues at home, you know, making sure that their family feels safe, that they feel confident that they've got income coming in, and they're not having to worry about some of the financial implications of this pandemic. And then I think if we just stick together, motivate each other, and really become united through all this, we're going to get out of it just fine. It's just going to take a minute, and it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. But I do believe on the flip side of this, there will be some good things that come of it.
Good deal, good deal. Well, Dustin, man, again, I'll say I appreciate you, and you even still, yet today, giving back even though you're down, says a lot about you. You're a good and noble guy, and we definitely appreciate you. Wish I could shake your hand, but we're going to end on that, though. We're just going to do the...
A lot of us do this because, not just for the money, because we love people, we like to interact with people, we like the interaction with the children that we deal with. We like to see the emotional effects of getting a haircut and making you feel good and better about yourself. We like the connection we make with our customers and things that we talk about, things that we learn, from stock market tips to business tips to what's going on in the sports world. To be honest with you, the church has often been, in a lot of aspects, the new church. The barbershop has been the new church, because this is where we gather, this is where we socialize, this is where men fellowship and children fellowship. So we learn a lot of things about being with one another, and a lot of things about the barbershop. People don't realize that there is power in fellowship, there is power in numbers, there's power in people on the same wavelength being together and talking and conversing. So it's good to be back, to be around the people and fellowship with good people. So that's one of the greatest reasons of being a barber, being able to fellowship, make people feel better about themselves, and be around good people.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for being with us. My name is Tony Jackson, of course. I have on today my good friend, Romeo Franklin, Tyrone Romeo Franklin, who has been diagnosed with COVID-19. And he's just going to talk to us a little bit about it, how he's feeling, and what steps he's taking to make it through. He actually seems in really good health and spirit, because he just one of them kind of guys, but I'm going to let him take it away. Ron, what's up, man?
What's going on, Tony? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well.
Well, look here, man. Thanks for having me on. This has definitely been a different journey. The whole experience made it life-changing. When I first started hearing about it, seeing it was actually on television, you know, just looking at people overseas and stuff, going on vacations and coming back home. But as you and I both know, Tony, I hadn't been on too many trips lately. I've been over the road driving 18-wheeler. Right. And, you know, my other passion is working for individuals with intellectual disabilities. And that's how I contracted the coronavirus. I never, ever thought that I would be one that would get it, contract it, because I felt like I did everything right, Tony. And like I say, I work with people with intellectual disabilities, hands-on. Up front, up close, and that's what happened to me, man. And to hear the hospital nurse call and tell you that you're positive, man, is jaw-dropping.
Right.
From my understanding, everybody go through and experience different things. So far, what I've been going through so far is just shortness of breath. One of my early symptoms was like having night sweats, fatigue, man, headaches, minimal aches and pains. And so far, I haven't lost my sense of taste, and thank God for that, but I've lost my sense of smell. You feel alienated because you can't go anywhere. And from my understanding here in the city of Memphis, if you go out and you're known to have it, then and you're caught, then that's a 6 months sentencing in prison and a fine as well. So it's like not only being quarantined, but pretty much under house arrest.
Right.
You have to take in the fact that now you're not only having to take care of yourself, but people that are around you and that you care about. So it's a real serious thing. And what baffles me is to see so many careless people that's taking this as if it's just a common cold, but it's not. It's life-threatening. Mm-hmm. I actually contracted it through a young lady that worked with me. We all really got tested. I don't know if you know this or not, Tony, but I was tested on the 20th of this month due to finding out a co-worker that worked close beside me had it, and I came back negative. So the company had all of us go and test again with this other lady that came, and she refused to take the test. That's what kind of upset me. This young lady refused to take the test, and we all had gone out and taken the test and came back tested negative. And this one individual refused it. And by the time she took her test, she came back and reported that she was positive, and I had to go retest. And on the 27th, I found out I tested positive. This is not a playing thing. It's not a joke. This is something serious because of somebody's nonchalantness and carelessness. Then I'm having to deal with this. And you got to realize that you're not the only one dealing with this. Those are people that are around you, your loved ones, people that know you. Everybody's dealing with this with you. So that's what we get so far, man.
Yeah. You know, one thing I was thinking about, this is definitely going to change the way that we just do things, how we greet people, how we, you know, the other day I was in the grocery store, and I guess it just never hit me until I actually stopped and just looked around. Everybody had masks on, but nobody was talking. You know, nobody was interacting. It was just a real dry experience, and I'm just like, man, it just hit me like some bricks. I was like, wow, this is really what we doing right now. Like, it was hard. It was hard.
It's you have to put a brave face on for your loved ones because you're thinking about it, but you try not to get caught up on the statistics, the numbers.
Right.
You just deal with it accordingly. And you've been knowing me for a long time, Tony. You know, I'm gonna continuously be silly. I don't let anything like this get me down, but I have to be totally honest with you.
Right.
It does run across sometimes you're thinking, and you're like, wow, how can somebody be so careless? And then the carelessness costs you to kind of like pay the price for it. Mm-hmm. One thing that I'm really not understanding is why we're so quick to opening up businesses now, because if I didn't tell you that I was affected, or I am affected with the coronavirus, you would never know. So that means that I could go out and about without a mask and be around everybody in restaurants, malls, the whole nine, and affecting other people. But you know the type of person I am. I'm not selfish. I'm not cruel. But unfortunately, that's the society that we live in. That's the world that we live in today. Right. People not caring about other people's well-being. So that has really been thought-provoking. Like we want to open up businesses and go back and make money. That's all I'm getting from this, Tony, is we're opening up because we're losing money. The unfortunate thing about that is, yeah, we may be losing money, but opening up too soon, we could be losing lives. So I just really, if people could feel what I'm feeling right now and the way my body is reacting and responding to this, then they'll know that it's not fun at all. It's not a game, especially with those that they're having medical issues. For one, mine, I'm asthmatic, and so I feel it. But the good thing about it is I still have an attitude, an appetite, positive attitude, and we're praying that we make it through this.
Right. And man, I commend you, man, because I really think that that's half the battle. You know, if you lay down and you think about it and you get in your feelings and you just lay there and die. But if you stay happy and keep going and keep moving like you are doing, then you fight through it and you get over it, man. I truly believe half of the battle is already won, just having a positive attitude like you did.
Yeah, man. You see, it made my hair come out too.
Right. Yeah, man. Well,
yeah, we just gonna put. Hey, I'm gonna put everything on Corona today. You know?
Right. Yeah.
What you're doing, I think, is awesome. Bringing more awareness to what is going on, this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you, young man. But I just wish more could be done to put more light on this situation. It really irritates me when I'm looking at the news or I'm listening to the radio and people are talking about the rights that they have as United States citizens. But until you actually get diagnosed with this and you feel what we go through, those that have been affected by this, then you see that this is no laughing matter, that it's serious business.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, man, I really appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna let you get back to it, but I again thank you for taking that's a little bit of your time to kind of shed some light and keep us in the know about what's going on as it relates to COVID-19, man. So appreciate your time and I wish you well, my brother.
My friend, my pleasure. God bless.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Keisha Liebert. I'm a registered respiratory therapist in Austin, Texas, and I also work at a children's hospital here. So before with coronavirus, I think all of us were just kind of hit with the looming fear of not knowing how this virus is spreading or what we can do to stop it from spreading. So I know in Texas, we were kind of glued to the TV, just waiting for updates from Washington to let us know what we should be doing. Before, we were kind of doing business as usual and just making sure that we washed our hands, wearing appropriate PPE, and understanding that, you know, what was to come was going to be, we didn't know, it was unknown. But now in Texas, now that we're kind of past that curve point, we're starting to talk about reopening Texas and starting to talk about reopening certain businesses that are essential. And I know now for sure in Travis County that we're mandated by the county to wear masks at all times in public areas. There are a lot of stores that I've gone to where the signs are up and you're not even allowed inside the store without any sort of covering on your face. You have to have something in order to shop, in order to be around in public areas. I believe before, when we went on shutdown, that the fine, if you were a non-essential worker just doing non-essential things, that if the police would catch you, I think the fine was $1,000. I'm not sure if that fine still stands now, but I know for sure that now that we're opening up and people are going back to slowly but surely business as usual, that we are still wearing the masks in public. COVID-19 became a thing that we talked about all the time in the news. When I came back from travel, I remember having to talk to an occupational health at our facility, basically telling us that we needed to try to self-quarantine for 14 days. That it was really new. Not a lot of people understood why we were doing what we were doing, but we did it. Basically, our self-quarantining consisted of us taking our temperatures at 2 different points in the day, every day for 14 days, and making sure that we didn't have any symptoms of the cough, the fever, and the sore throat. At first, at the hospital, when we came in to do our shifts, we just walked in like normal. Some of us decided to put masks on, some of us didn't. It was basically your choice. But as COVID has increased and a lot more people were getting diagnosed and dying from COVID, we saw a lot of changes in our hospital. We had mandates that would come out every single day at different points in the day, basically updating us on the different changes that from administration down that needed to happen. One of those things being that when we came to work, we had to form lines at different access points that we could enter into the hospital, and we had to get asked those questions of the symptoms, and we also had to take our temperatures. We were also on a mandatory wearing a mask in our facility at all times while you're there, and only changing out your mask when it was soiled. We were also kind of concerned about PPE. We at that point did not reuse PPE. We were basically just using it how we had been, which is one per patient every time that you go in. You would put it on and then take it off and throw it away. Now we're at the point where if we do have a patient under investigation, which is someone that we are currently testing for coronavirus but not yet confirmed, we put everything on. We put the head shield that we call a PAPVAR on, as well as an N95 mask, and all of those things go into the room. The headgear is wiped down and the gown is being thrown away. Now, I guess in our hospital, we've basically gotten used to all the updates. They've been really good about sending us out emails telling us what we needed to do. The only concern that we had for our children's hospital was that making sure that we appropriately screen the patients coming in to make sure that we don't miss anyone that could possibly have coronavirus. We've been getting a lot better at that, but currently from the time the coronavirus came around till now, we've had 0 confirmed patients with coronavirus, which is amazing. However, with our adult sister hospitals, that has not been the case. There are a lot of cases, I think over 500 cases in Travis County of confirmed coronavirus patients. However, I know recently one of our sister hospitals just what we call extubated, which is take the tube out when a patient is on a ventilator. We took the tube out and they were able to be discharged from the hospital.
COVID-19. My first thought of COVID-19 as a retail pharmacy employee, I just thought that it was a worst case of the flu. You know, people are skeptical of what's actually in vaccines these days anyhow, so me thinking, it's just a bad case of the flu, maybe whoever passed away due to COVID-19 didn't get a flu vaccine. 9 times out of 10, speaking from personal experiences, when you do get a flu shot, you can get the flu sometimes, or you can have worse symptoms. Being that it can be seasonal allergies can act up or whatever may have you, you are prone to get sick. A lot of people buy over-the-counter medications thinking that, hey, it's just a bad cold, and try to treat themselves at home by buying OTC medications. When that doesn't work, then they'll go to the doctor's office and find out worse symptoms, and everything can arise, and you can arise to possibly getting pneumonia, and it starts from there. Me, basically, at first, I didn't take COVID-19 serious until they started saying how everything needs to be closed down, everybody needs to be quarantined. As a single mother of 3 children and a grandchild on the way, I'm like, wow, okay, this is serious. I myself is one of the essential employees. My daughter, who pregnant at the time of the beginning, was also an essential employee due to fast food. So therefore, you know, being pregnant, you risking everything. And where she was working, everybody was already getting sick from quote unquote flu-like symptoms anyways and missing out on work. So the more she hurt and thinking about things, the less she went to work, which I wasn't really worried about it because I'm more concerned of your health and your baby's health than making money. It's not about the dollar, it's about you in the whole. So I told her, you know, if you have to just miss off, if you want to go ahead, being that Everything started in March and baby was due in April. If you want to go ahead and take off work now, you can. Don't worry about anything else that comes behind it, because I will still be working. I will just take the precautions of everything. We were going back and forth to the hospitals due to complications, what we thought were complications and thought were serious pregnancy symptoms, and Braxton Hicks worse than that, but we thought that maybe she'll have the baby earlier than she was supposed to. So we were already going back and forth to the hospital anyways. So upon all of this, you know, when they shut everything down and only a limited amount of people are allowed at the hospital, you know, everybody wearing masks. You have to go in, you have to wear a mask, you have to make sure you sanitize and everything like that. It's like a serious case of being clean. Like, you have to be like OCD clean. And me being in the health field myself, I'm like, yeah, we clean. I'm clean. I stock up with Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer, soap. Like, those are necessities in a household. So why wouldn't someone be clean? So I've already had masks anyways from being out. But as far as work goes, my work, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, asking, well, can we wear a mask because this is getting serious? The response to that was, well, they don't want us to wear masks right now because they don't want to alarm the customers as if we back here are sick and that we have something. So besides us doing the usual cleaning pen pads, cleaning counters, you know, cleaning our areas every day, outside waiting areas, cleaning everything, we were not allowed to wear a mask. Now, I was upset because COVID-19, and you hearing about all this serious case, and you're trying not to freak out. You trying not to get your, you know, get your mind, your mental state of mind in a space where you can't get out of. Like, I have kids. I am a sole provider of my children. I know I'm the only one who can take care of my children better than anyone else. I mean, I'm a mom. So I have to work, I have to provide. But for me, wanting to take an extra step against company's policy, I felt like I should be able to wear a mask. So at the beginning, no mask. Okay. How about when they seen the seriousness of the quarantine, seeing that people in our area were passing away, a lot of cases of people testing positive, they sent an email out saying, hey, y'all get to wear a mask. But you know what? They didn't order them. But you know who had some? Me. I had them. So yeah, I didn't have to worry about waiting on a mask to come in. And the true part about it is you got to sign off for it. And you have to wear the mask that they want you to wear. And the masks that they had were similar to this. Similar to these. I had already had some. But my thing was, you know, I wanted to take the extra precaution of protecting myself because I had to go home to my children. And my other children, I have 3 children in all, and a dog. But like I stated, my oldest, my daughter, she's pregnant. My other 2 children, my middle child, which is my oldest son, he has, well, both of them have asthma and allergy symptoms. So they're basically in the house. They get to go outside every once in a while, but they're telling you to stay home and also telling you to be clean, wash your hands, do whatever. So when I leave work, I have to take off my clothes. I don't have a garage or anything, but they suggest that you take off your clothing because anything can stick to your clothing. So all the time I'm washing every freaking day, washing my clothes. Come in, take my clothes out. My kids know to have my clothes set aside. So when I say, hey, I'm pulling up, I'm outside. So I just change out of everything to protect me from my children. And my daughter and I were doing this for quite some time up until I just told her just go ahead and take off work, because I don't want to have to worry about you as well as worry about myself. So being an essential employee, yeah, you know, it's cool and all, but I wish people would just listen and stay at home, because I knew eventually if your script count goes down, then your hours go down as well. Now, there were customers that would come in there every single day, every day. I had 2 customers that I tried to encourage. Hey, I noticed that you need this. Do you mind if I just go ahead and see if the insurance will go ahead and pay for it, so that you won't have to come out, that we can get everything at once? And I also try to encourage delivery service that was offered free of charge, may I ask? Free of charge. No. People like personal contact. They can't help it. They like to see you. They like to be in your space. They want to feel your energy. They want to see. They want to be in the physical. It doesn't matter that you're being told to stay home. No. Those rules did not apply.
Hey, what's up? My wife and I took the test on yesterday, the COVID-19 test. We took the test because I've been down since Sunday, feeling hot, headaches, body sweating, no energy, coughing, no appetite. So we went to the hospital on yesterday. They put us in this line and do the drive-through. Got in the drive-through, and they took our information. They took the information, and we had to pull over until we got out of the car. And we went into this tent, and they did the pneumonia. They test for that first, so they put a nostril up my nose for that, and then they did the COVID-19. And with the COVID-19, they didn't go up one nostril; they went up 2 nostrils for the COVID-19, and that process took about 30 minutes. And when they swabbed my nose, when it went up in my nose, you got to hold your breath because you don't know how far it's going, and it's going far. I thought it was going to be hurting, but it didn't really hurt. But it was surprisingly hurt a little bit. But yeah, I did that. I said the results would probably be in a couple of days. Hadn't got them in yet. Still feeling tired. And just waiting on the results. So my wife and I, we're quarantining now, social distancing. Whew. All right.
All right, so we are here at Academia Preschool with an essential worker, Mr. Sigmund. And Sigmund is going to tell us today just a little bit about his company. And Sigmund, I also want to ask about COVID-19 and how it has affected your business and what your plans moving forward look like.
Well, Academia Preschool is in the Bartlett area. We're located at 5724 Stage Road, Suite F. That's in Bartlett. 38134. Phone number 310-4136. Bring all your children. We welcome them all, ages 13 months rather, to 12 years old. We have before and after care as well. As you can see behind us, we have many different activities for the children, and we have a wonderful staff as well. How has this pandemic affected business? As you can see, we are like a ghost town around here. Not because we could not be open, but we decided that we wanted to be safe. We did not want our children to become infected, not because of the children's sake, but because of the parents. We were not sure where the parents were going, who they were coming in contact with, and we did not want to chance our children becoming infected.
Right.
So we decided to close our doors when the city gave that mandate.
Right. Now, so kind of explain to me, what did it feel like when you got the notification that the governor and the officials were recommending that the daycare centers and businesses of that sort to close down?
I think I had mixed emotions. I understood by all means the reasoning behind it, but as a business owner, you are concerned with how you will survive. You go through the process of applying for the grants and the different loans, but then when you realize and you find out that the money is no longer there, it's kind of a pin in the balloon that busts your bubble. So just trusting in God, having faith, and believing that everything's gonna work out. And that's all that we can do at this time.
Right. Well, I can honestly say, I myself am about to go crazy at my home because of my kids that proudly attend Academia Preschool.
Absolutely.
And I thought it was very fitting to come and talk with Sigmund and even sit here at the table that the kids sit at. It's a good feeling, man, to be, I guess, back at home, because this is kind of where I started from at the daycare level, right? But being a small business, I know it's not easy. What are your plans going forward? I know here, I believe next week, they're going to start to lift the ban on businesses and allowing everybody to open again. Are daycare centers included in that first rollout?
I'm not sure. I have been looking at, even before they started saying this, I was looking at the second week in May anyway, because regardless of what the state or the city does, I don't want to be caught in that first wave. The first wave is always the worst wave. So I wanted to be prepared, and we want to make sure that we are practicing safety first. We will be recommending, this first you hear this, we'll be recommending that all kids here, when we do open up, and that they have masks. We're going to try to keep them 6 feet apart, if possible. We know it's not, it is not possible. Household members, brothers and sisters, they will be allowed to, do as they please, because they live in the same household. We will be doing extra sanitizing the hands, washing the hands, and just trying to stay as clean as possible. So that's the key. So we're looking forward to getting back. We miss the kids. As you know, we sent out, I made deliveries yesterday for fun packs, boxes, and made deliveries to all the kids. And I think and I hope they're enjoying them. So we're just trying to keep them engaged and keeping hope alive.
That's it, man. Well, I'd like to go on record just to, of course, I thank you privately all the time, but I want to thank you publicly right here today, because you guys have been wonderful and a great benefit to myself and my family. And we appreciate everything you guys do, and we look forward to getting back in here as soon as possible. As soon as possible. Matter of fact, make me the first phone call. Just I'm gonna bring them right in. But I got you. Sigmund, man, again, we really appreciate you and your staff here at Academia, and we look forward to good things for you guys this year, and we hope that 2020 is an outstanding year. I hope we can rebound, and you guys just are busting at the seams. So we're gonna pray for it and claim it, man. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you.
All right.
Social distance.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Priscilla Hughes, and I tested positive for COVID-19 almost a week ago. My symptoms were very, very minor. I had low backache. I was feeling run down for one day, and then eventually I could not smell or taste. Those are the symptoms that led me to contact my primary care physician, who then told me to contact Baptist Medical Group, which I did. And from the time I contacted my primary care to the time I was tested and then came home was about 2 hours. So thank you, Baptist, and my primary care physician. So the symptoms of smell and taste subsided. That lasted about 4 days, and I feel fine now. My family is staying away from everyone. We are in quarantine. We have to be in quarantine for a total of 2 weeks. And so if something doesn't feel right about your body, contact your doctor. Don't be afraid. Don't feel like you're being a hypochondriac or anything like that. We washed our hands, we hand sanitized, we stayed away from people, and I still ended up getting it. So this thing is very contagious. I'm praying for everyone who has the flu-like symptoms and getting truly sick, and pray that anybody who does get it gets the symptoms that I had, which are almost nothing. So everyone be safe, and I am praying for all of you. Thank you.
Hey, shout out to all of my Navy folks out there to stay safe and keep pushing. Just like all the military folks out there, with all this pandemic going on, hey, just be safe and stay home.
People going crazy, we don't care. Trying to tell us go inside, we don't care. We turning up and going live, we don't care. Corona got people sick and dying, we don't care. My people going crazy, we don't care. Trying to tell us go inside, we don't care. We turning up and going live, we don't care. Corona got people sick and dying.
So Tobin, hey man, I'm dying to know, man. Let the audience know what prompted you to make that powerful song.
Actually, it was birthed by just simply trying to raise the severity of the awareness of the fact. And I wasn't at first I wasn't really tripping on it like that. It was like, okay, boom, it's a pandemic, it's a virus going around, boom, boom, boom. But I started to really, what tripped me out was seeing that people really wasn't taking no precaution and wasn't even taking ear to the fact that this is a serious situation, and then, a lot of people it don't get real to a lot of people until it's real, we all, it take everything, every one of us and everything to make the universe go around. That's why it's a universe. So, and that's the most important thing about this situation. If you take care of yourself, then it helps us take care of each other. So if everybody take the same precautions, you take to this, that, and the other, it wouldn't be as big as it is now. So, and also I noticed a lot of the masses are asses. I'm just being disrespectful about anything. The masses are asses because we follow trends, we follow the fashion statement or the this or the that for whatever goes on. So when I say the masses are asses, when the majority is doing one thing, that's what the majority gonna do. So, and then I got to seeing these people riding in their cars. You ride by yourself and you got your mask and stuff on. Your mask and gloves on, and you ride by yourself. So it's like both ways people are missing their thing. So I was like, boom, I'm trying my best to, do my part. And this is my profession. So with my profession, I'm gonna do what I can to raise the awareness of health. So and I made the song. And actually the song was just the same way I make. How you've been with me in the studio or been around. We've been doing this riding a long time together, and then it just came to me and I put it down. I don't write any of my music. I just went in and put it down. And it was organic.
I'll be honest. I often worry about the financial impact this COVID-19 is going to have on artists and entertainment in general. We did speak with V-Rock from the Yin Yang Twin, and I just want to get your perspective on what has it slowed down for you? Have you had to cancel any engagements or performances, or how has it affected you financially?
Financially, it has see that for you. Yeah. Financially, it has affected me in the way that I'm an engineer as well. I'm a producer, so that's how I make a living. People not trying to book or come to the studio because of the coronavirus, but we all rap on the same mic. Even though it can be cleaned every time, but this, that, and other, but people are taking those precautions because how many people, would choose to use something that someone else has used, especially to rap on in this situation or sing or whatnot. So it's cut that down along with, I can't perform. I've had some canceled performances. My album supposed to just drop. Can't promote that the proper way. So it's and then in ways that I'm not even paying attention because I'm so focused on the main thing. So it's taxing me. But one thing about it, even though we had this financial situation, and I want to say this, forever, people always say, my people, I always had a thing with the way we were treated with the inequality, and I was proud to be able to say this. With all that inequality, who was most prepared to deal with situations like this? The financial strain, doing without. What foods do I need to get this gonna last me long as I need it to last me? What can I use instead of using this to make this stretcher, to make this bigger, or make this happen? We were most prepared for any of that because of what we've been through. So, and that's another thing to say, you just gotta let God do what He doing. However He doing, it's His thing, man. This is what, so, and there was a trip the one time that we should have looked up and said, man, thanks for the hard time. You still like, man, so I think that when it comes financially, I'm thinking I'm pushed more to be to push out to say that I'm back to be prepared or to be able to make it through this financial strain. And then went through some things that I can make because there's some CEOs somewhere blowing their brains out. You know what I'm saying? Because the world is over. And for a lot of people that that's getting their money, they shut their businesses down. Because I can't keep a business up that's not going to bring in income. I'm making a living to pay my rent or my mortgage or my whatever, my car notes, my kids' schooling, all my business that I now have to shut down. So there's no money coming in. I don't know how to deal with this. I came from a golden spoon in my mouth. This came from my father's father, or whatever the case may be. Can't deal with it. And you got my people that's so comfortable that they're at the gas station in a pandemic having a party. So it's like a slap in the face all the way around. And even this, me saying this is gonna go over a lot of people's heads. But it's like boom. Instead of being appreciative that you got the tools to make it through, you go out and throw it in there like, hey, whatever. I tell you, you hit the nail on the head when you said my people going crazy, and we don't care. I mean, those words were real to me, man. When I heard the song, I said, that's a hit. That needs to be heard worldwide. So that's the main reason we decided to add it to Pandemic on the Ground, knowing that this will be on Amazon Prime and other platforms, and we're going worldwide. We want everybody to know that we're here in the South and we're serious about this coronavirus, and we're doing everything we can and taking precautions, and why not have a little fun and add some hip-hop flavor to it, right? With an artist such as Kobe or, some others, man. So y'all be sure to follow Kobe, man. He's got a lot of good, positive things going on. He's been around the industry a long time, working with some of the greatest names you ever know. So I encourage everybody to look him up, follow him, and
We're gonna let y'all hear this song. We're gonna let y'all hear this song. I think you can definitely appreciate it and feel the words. So we're gonna get to it.
My people going crazy. We don't care. Just trying to tell us go inside. We don't care. We turning up and going live. We don't care. Corona got people sick and dying. We don't care. My people going crazy.
The documentary Pandemic on the Ground has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. We do not make any representation or warranties with respect to the accuracy, applicability, or completeness of the video content. This documentary is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician and other qualified health providers with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have read or seen. We hereby disclaim any and all liability to individuals featured for any direct, indirect, implied, punitive, special, incidental, or other consequential damages arising directly or indirectly from any use of the video content, which is provided as is and without warranties. Additionally, we hereby disclaim any and all liability to Tony Jackson, Del One Coleman, and all behind-the-scenes staff.